Sahana bhavatu Sahanau bhunaktu Sahaviryam karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Sri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Name parthasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana nanavaptam avaptavyam vartayeva cha karmani. I do not have duty in 3 worlds, yet I act. There is nothing that I have not attained. There is nothing that I can attain or I should attain. Yet, all the time I am working for a reason. And the reason he explains is, Yajyada charati shreshtaha tattad eva taroda janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokastad anuvartate. As the great ones, noble ones conduct themselves in this world for the sake of setting an example, the ordinary ones, the regular folks, they follow their path. So it is important for noble people to work and set examples. If noble people who have received the self-knowledge decide to withdraw and remain in the state of that withdrawal and do not engage with the world or act in the world, there would not be good examples at all. There will be bad examples. And because of bad examples, people will follow the bad path. And then there will be bad results. So it is important for Jnanis to work even more than Ajnanis. Ajnanis are driven by their passion to work, their desires to work. But Jnanis should work still, desirelessly, selflessly, for the sake of setting example for the people. This is the reason why Sri Krishna would work, or Sri Rama would work, or Swami would work. Anybody would work because they just don't have anything to achieve. Not they have desire to achieve anything, but they have a duty towards setting an example for the rest of the humanity to follow. And from the examples we learn and thereby we get inspired. As H.W. Longfellow says, lives of great men all remind us we can make our lives sublime. Because of the greatness of these great people, we also get inspired and we try to be great. That is the effort that we must put on this path. So for that sake, everybody should work. So to set an example, not to achieve anything, not to gain anything, not to promote oneself, or not to be known or seen or heard or revered or celebrated. None of this is the idea why the Jnanis work. Vivekananda says, behind my work was ambition. Behind my love was personality. Behind my guidance was thirst for power. Even such a learned person like Swami Vivekananda, at the end of his life, sometime, he writes, these are the things that I have experienced. But then he surrenders to the Mother Divine and says, now I come here, I come. That he is now offering his mind, body, senses, soul, everything to the Mother. And he is ready to now go wherever Mother takes. But before such a day of surrender, there were thoughts like this. As I said, behind all his work, there was some kind of an idea which he himself acknowledges. I have great regards for Swami Vivekananda. In fact, he is kind of my hero because he is also not somebody who, like in at least in worldly parlance, not an avatar who descended. Though Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa would call him an avatar only. He would think he was Shiva personified. But for the world, he was a disciple who came to the Guru, got inspired, and then followed the path. And despite challenges, he did so much. Took the idea of Vedanta to the world. And he definitely carved a niche for Indian spirituality and philosophy during those colonial times, where we were only looked down upon as second-rated civilization. but he did something amazing in those times. Krishna's personality is full of controversies. If you see, a lot of things he did where people questioned that, are you really Dharmagopta, Dharmadata? Because you seem to be always cutting corners and doing things which in regular social parlance would look inappropriate or unrighteous. But Sri Krishna had his own reason why he did what he wanted to do. And unmindful of ridicule or reverence, he went on doing things for the sake of Dharma Stapana. That is the idea of the Jnanis. They will act nevertheless, come bouquets or brickbats, because they are not disturbed or they are not motivated by those things. They are motivated by the idea that they are here to set an example and set dharma in the world. Then I think of Krishna. Krishna, how you have been blamed for whatever you did. Gandhari curses you. Let all Yadavas be destroyed. Let no one remain. Because he had fooled Duryodhana into covering his modesty so that he gets killed by Bhima's strike. He was cursed. You should get destroyed. And Krishna accepted, all right, let all Yadavas get destroyed, but I shall not leave the side of Dharma. He didn't beg Kunti, please take back that curse. My people are important to me, my wives and my children and my grandchildren and cousins and uncles. The Yadava dynasty is important for me. You do please take the curse back. I will see to that Bhima does not kill Duryodhana. He doesn't compromise. Do what you want. This is Dharma and I shall stand by it. This is the power of Jnana, because Jnana gives you that courage to do the right thing. Ajnanis cannot have courage. Ajnanis will shiver at every shadow because they don't have self-confidence. This is what is self-confidence. Confidence in the self. That what you are is right, what you are doing is right. So when you think of Jnana, it is not merely about attaining some elevated state of consciousness and a utopian existence where no sorrow touches you, no work can define you, no identification with lower things. Yes, all that exists. But how is it useful to the people who are ignorant around you? It gives you the courage to do the dharma. Unless that spiritual realization is there, you cannot have the courage to stake it all for the sake of establishing dharma. And that is why jnana is important. Nahi jnanena sadrisham, because of this also, that jnana gives you the necessary courage to do what is right. To do wrong things, you don't need courage. But do what is right in the present situations, it really needs a lot of courage. To be called out for no fault of yours, to be singled out, to be accused of things that you don't do. Yet you stand your ground and say, no, I will still fight because it is dharma. Dharma is not possible without jnana. Jnana alone can help you become a follower of dharma or dharma gopta or dharma data. It is possible only for jnanis. Ajnanis cannot follow the path of dharma. With that, we come to the page number 154, 2.17 is the shloka, where it says, Bodha matro aham ajnanat upadhi kalpito maya evam vimrushato nityam nirvikalpe stitir mama. Bodha matro aham, I am awareness alone, I am knowledge alone. Ajnanat upadhi kalpito maya, and all that which is superimposed on me, that I am anything other than self, that I am the body or the mind, that is upadhi. Upadhi is a word used for superimpositions or vikaras. So you are a man, but you are also a husband. You are also a son. You are also a teacher. You are also a brother. Man being, let us say in this context, real, then all upadhis are, you are a husband is one upadhi, son is another upadhi, brother is another upadhi, teacher is another upadhi. These are all superimpositions of this idea that you are anything different from what you really are. And this, he says, is kalpito maya. This is my imagination. It's imaginary that I am something else other than what the truth is, which is I am awareness, consciousness. Evam vimrushto nityam. This one, in this way, you should continue to vimrusha. Vimrusha means analyze, deeply think, contemplate. You have to deeply contemplate nityam, very important. Once in a while, if you contemplate, you will not get it. It's not that you come for a satsang, you contemplate, then you forget about it. Nityam. Nityam, you must analyze who you really are and which are the superimpositions of other false ideas on you. Nirvikalpe stitir mama. You are nirvikalpa sthitihi. Nirvikalpa means you have no thoughts, you are beyond all the thoughts. Thoughts is the subtlest vikara or upadhi. Word is a more grosser one, and body actions is the grossest. Subtlest thought also is not you. Forget body and other things. Even a subtle thought that disturbs your original state of awareness is also an upadhi, an imaginary superimposition on your true self. You are not that. Think of this screen, TV screen or a movie screen. All kinds of projections are happening on it. Right now, if you see the screen, you will see me, the mic, the flowers, the chair, the background, and things like that. If I ask you, what is the screen in it? What is the reality of the screen? What will you tell? Is reality the chair? Is reality my face? Is reality the mic or the flowers? None of this is the reality of the screen. What is the reality of the screen? It is untouched by any of these projections. It is simply a screen on which images don't stick. These images don't define what screen is. Screen is projecting the images, but screen is different from the images. Likewise, our awareness is projecting all the world, our thoughts, emotions, our experiences. But our awareness is not touched by any of these things. It is nirvikalpa, it is free from all thoughts. Like the screen is free from all the images. If you switch off the screen, you will see no image. But screen is still there. Likewise, our self is there. And all the vikalpa, sankalpa, vikalpa is what mind is all about. Thinking and deciding. That is all the mind does all the time. None of this is me. It is only imagination. So if I tell you what is a screen, you will say a screen is that in which right now Swami is, not even right now, somebody who has just walked in, he'll say screen is the one with the chair and the mic and Swami and the flowers. That is the screen, you will tell. But I would say no, because now if the camera turns the other way, it will not have me and the flower and the table and the chair. Now it has all the audience. Let's see there. Now what is the screen? You will say screen means boys on one side, girls on the other side, in between one carpet. I would say that is also a wrong description of the screen. That is an imaginary upadhi on the screen. The screen was not the chair, flowers, me and the mic. Screen were also not the boys and girls on either sides of the hall and the red carpet in between. Screen was screen in both the cases, untouched by what was being projected. If you start thinking projected items as the definition of the screen and start telling screen is actually boys and girls on one side, that is what the screen is. No, it is wrong. Screen is always a screen, irrespective it projects you or projects me or projects anything outside us. So this is the idea that I am bodhoham, I am the screen-like awareness. Ajnanat upadhi, because of ignorance, I start believing that all these superimpositions on my mind, my thoughts, emotions, good, bad, dharma, adharma, sukha, dukkha, moksha, bandha, all these are real. These are all imaginary only. On my awareness, none of these stick. They don't define me. But I must deeply contemplate, because if you just ask a child, the child will not be able to discriminate and discern. The screen is different from the projections. When we were small, my grandmother used to scare us. When we will say we will be doing some mischief and the TV was on, there will be an anchor telling the news or some program is going on. My grandmother will tell they can watch you from the TV. And we used to start behaving, oh my God, that person is watching us from the TV. That was her way to silence us and make us behave. And I started really believing that the lady in the TV knows me because she is watching me every day. Upadhi, imagination. But I started living in the fear. Whenever the TV is coming on and somebody is inside the TV, I would start behaving because I'm being watched. So that was my grandmother's trick. But what I'm trying to say is that that is not true. It's imagination. But you believe in it, right? For a long time I believed that this is true, that we can watch them and they can watch us. Which is not true. But all this imagination, I am the man, the woman, the boy, the girl, the good, the bad, all that is upadhi on the self, which is pure, which is nirvikalpa. It has no thought, no emotions, no nothing. It is just plain, pure, unblemished, ever existent reality of things. So imagine this is how we get fooled into thinking that we are other than what we truly are, which is our self, which is nature is awareness, and we start believing we are something else. And then we start getting excited about all these upadhis that we have. You got a doctorate degree, now you got one medal, now you got next upadhi. You got a promotion to become HOD, now next upadhi, now you are the registrar, vice chancellor, chancellor, whatever. Or as a boy, you become a husband and now you become a father, then you become a grandfather. You feel you are getting promoted in life. These upadhis are adding on titles. And we start believing in those titles and start thinking we are nothing but our titles. But we are none of them. We are the person behind all these titles. Titles come and go. Likewise, we are the self behind all the idea of I and mine and this body and emotions and thoughts. Even vikalpa means thoughts are also not allowed to be identifying us. We are beyond that. Amani bhava, yesterday we read, where there is no mind, there is no thought. That is me. Beyond all these things. So, but you cannot get it unless you are capable of analyzing and discerning it. Just by look of it, you don't get it. Just by looking at it, you don't get it. Just by listening to it, you don't get it. Just by reading about it, you don't get it. By being that alone, you get it. So he's become that. Janaka has become, there's no jnana or gyata or gyayam separate now. Everything has become one in his consciousness, and he is able to say things like this. All these, I am a king, I am a husband, I am a father of Sita, father-in-law of Rama. All these are upadhis. None of this is me actually. I am the self which is nirvikalpa. There is no vikalpa, there is no thought, there is no distortion, there is no upadhi. That is what I am. And that realization is now making him feel so relieved, making him feel so free. Because till he thought he was a king, oh, there was a burden, I am king, I have to run the kingdom. Till he thought he was the father of Sita and 3 more daughters, he was worried how I have to get them all married, find good son-in-laws. But now he does not feel like that. He says, yes, they are there, but they are all upadhis on me. They are superimpositions, but that is not real me. Real me is free. That is the beauty of this shloka. So again, as I said, you have to discern, analyze. Vimrushya is the word, don't forget. Even Krishna says, after giving whole Bhagavad Gita towards the last chapter, he says, Itime jnanam akyatam guhyat guhyataram maya. Vimrushyetad asheshena. Vimrushya, he says to Arjuna. Vimrushyetad asheshena yathechasi tatha kuru, he says in Bhagavad Gita. I have taught you all my knowledge. Whatever I knew, I have told you, Arjuna. Guhyat guhyataram. The secret of all secrets that I alone know, nobody else knows. Everything I have shared with you just now through this Bhagavad Gita. Now what does Krishna say at the end? Vimrushyeta dasheshena. Contemplate, analyze, assimilate, understand what I have said just now. Vimrushyeta asheshena, without leaving anything to doubt. Completely, fully analyze what I have told you so far. And then final, yathechasi tatakuru. And then as you feel is right. Whatever is your wish, after that you do. I am not going to force you. Oh, do this only. I can tell you whatever I know. You sit and contemplate, understand it for yourself without leaving anything to doubt, and do as you please. That is the Krishna's final word to Arjuna. I don't want to tell you anything anymore after this. This is it. Same thing I do. Our children are growing up, they have a mind and personality now. Earlier they were all kids. You could just tell them, do this and don't do that. And if they don't do it, just show your eyes and raise your voice and they'll start doing. Now I can't do this. Because they have grown up. They are men and women, they are not boys and girls. The way I treated them 5 years, 10 years ago, I can't treat them like that now. Now I have to leave it to their choice. But with this word, that vimrushyete dasheshena, contemplate thoroughly about whatever you have learned in the last 10, 15 years. Don't simply decide. I am not going to tell you do this or do not do this. That time is over. That's no more my job. But what I am going to tell you nevertheless is that Whatever I have told you so far, contemplate, analyze, and understand it thoroughly without leaving anything to chance or doubt. Then you decide what you want to do. Half analysis and half understanding, and with half knowledge, don't go about deciding your things. Completely understand, analyze, and then you do what you want. I am not going to interfere after that. That is what our Janaka is saying. Thoroughly analyze which is the screen. Is the tree the screen, the flowers the screen, chair the screen, or there is something beyond that. But my nature is nirvikalpa. So all this is vikalpas because they are coming and going. Nirvikalpa cannot, the only screen remains, the pictures come and go. So I am not the pictures. I am not the upadhis, boy, girl, man, woman, husband, wife. All these come and go. Till you are married, before marriage, you are not husband. After marriage, you are a husband. And if your wife dies, you are not husband anymore. These come and go. But the person remains. Like that, these upadhis come and go. The truth of the self, which is bodhoham, awareness remains. With that, go to the next shloka, which is on page number 160, 2.18. It says, Aho mayi sthitam vishvam vastuto na mayi sthitam name bandhosti moksho va bhranti shanta nirashraya. Aho, again an exclamation there. Wondering, is wonderstruck. What he says, Mahi sthitam vishvam, the whole world exists in me. Or vastuto na mahi sthitam, or this universe, this whole thing in reality does not exist in me. Either everything exists in me or nothing exists in me, he is saying. The similar thing as we heard a few shlokas ago. Everything is me or nothing is me. Everything is mine or nothing is mine. He says, in one way the whole world exists in me, and actually there is nothing that exists in me. Let us go back to the screen again. All the pictures exist in the screen. But are they really existing in the screen? When I switch off the camera, they don't exist in the screen. Did that TV anchor who was watching me from inside, as per my grandmother's theory, really exist in the TV? I thought she lives inside the TV. But she didn't exist. So in a way the lady existed in the screen because I can see the lady on the screen. But in a way she never existed because that was not her true existence at all. It was just a picture, an image. Likewise, he's saying the whole world exists in me, like the picture in the screen, or nothing exists in me, like the screen does not get attached to the pictures, or pictures don't permanently stay on the screen. Either this or that. Both are true, he's saying in a way. And he says, therefore, what is the beautiful conclusion from this understanding? Name bandhosti mokshova. So I have no bondage nor liberation. Is the TV screen bound by the pictures? Or when pictures are switched off, is the TV screen free, but relieved? Ayyo, I'm free, no more pictures on me. So this idea of bandha moksha does not exist in because I'm not attached. See, attachment leads to bandha, no? Attachment leads to bondage. If there is no attachment, where is the bondage? So when there is no bondage, where is the freedom? Our whole problem is attachment. My son, my wife, my money, my heart. That is the problem. That is why bandha. But when I say I am not the husband, wife and son and daughter, I am the self. The bandha itself is gone off. Now because bandha itself is not there, the opposite of is moksha, how is it possible? If object is there, shadow will be there. If object itself is not there, shadow, where does the shadow come from? So he is saying this idea that I was all these pictures and things, that was my problem. Upadhis were my problem. Now the upadhis are gone. I have understood they were illusory. The pictures were not the screen. I understood that. Nobody lives inside the screen. I understood that. Now I am free. Let my grandmother scare me now. You think I am going to get scared? I tell Granny, I have grown up. I have understood Vimrushyete Dasheshena. I have understood this is just a screen and TV. And these ladies come and go and nobody watches me. You've been fooling all this while because I was ignorant. Now I am a Jnani. You can't fool me anymore. So I become free from my grandmother's tricks. Why? Because I analyzed. If this lady is sitting inside the screen, where does she go when we switch off the TV? Where is her? What does she eat? Where did she get her new sari next day from? So many analyses I did after that. Sitting in front of the TV, when my grandmother is not watching, I'll switch on the TV and look at the lady's eyes. But she's not looking at me, she's looking this way, that way. Then I'll go behind the TV and check, where does she enter this TV from? And my biggest worry was, what does she eat after all? And then I finally came to a conclusion, my granny has been fooling me all this while. Because I was ignorant, little innocent boy, she took advantage of my ignorance and made me a bandha. Now I have got moksha from the TV lady. Why? Because she doesn't exist in the TV. I have analyzed and understood it. Now nobody can fool me. This is exactly Janaka is saying. All this while I was fooled into thinking I am the king, husband, father, this, that. I have to behave like this, do not do this. Now I know I was none of these. And therefore bondage and liberation both are bhranti, he says, illusion. Both are illusion, bhranti. So once bhranti is gone, what is shanta? I have become, my true nature is peaceful. Now that I have figured that out, that lady in TV is not real, I am free. And I am peaceful. All this while I was worried. Now I am peaceful, nobody is watching me. I am shanta. And nirashraya, independent I have become. I have no more dependencies. Without my wife, I can't be happy. Without this money, I cannot be peaceful. Without somebody saying nice things to me, I cannot feel good today. None of these dependencies exist now because I don't identify with any of these things. That is what I said. A Jnani can be nirashraya. He is independent. Everything can depend on Jnani. Jnani depends on nothing. Everybody is dependent on Jnani. Jnani remains independent. All the pictures depend on the screen. Screen does not depend on the pictures. Screen is independent of the pictures. It is free. Nirashraya. One beautiful story is there. Simhasan Battisi, I don't know whether you heard, because we are from MP. There's Vikramaditya of Ujjain. Great Vikrama, the first Vikramaditya won. The many Vikramaदिtyas after him. He was ruling the kingdom of Ujjain by Shipra river. Also, that is where the Mahakaleshwara temple is there, Mahakal. It is a throne given to the king Vikramaditya, original one, by Indra. And that throne has 32 dolls. These are all apsaras who have been embossed or whatever, they have been etched in that throne. It has got steps, very large, huge throne. So the great Vikramaditya who ruled it first was the just king, very good king. He sat on that throne which was gifted by Indra. And the rule was, nobody who is undeserving of that throne should ever climb the throne. But down the generations, another king who was anointed to be the king of Ujjain, he tries to climb the throne. And every time he put the first step on the throne, one of the dolls, one of the idols come alive and say, wait, before you step on to this throne, answer my question. And if you are as wise as your original forefather Vikramaditya, only then you are supposed to sit on this throne. Otherwise you are not supposed to sit on this throne. So there was 32 episodes like that. Each doll will ask him a question, tell a story, and create a situation. Very design thinking, very case study like. Once upon a time there lived a poor Brahmin. He did this. Now tell me, if you were the king, what would have been your decision? Like that, 32 stories come from there. Each story is a moral story. It talks about social, moral, spiritual dilemmas in people's lives and how a king should look at it and make a decision. And then the idol will everywhere tell you again failed. The decision that you gave is not what your forefather would have given. And then she will tell what is the right decision. Likewise, it was a story or treatise on governance and kingship and things like that, moral behavior. So I always tell myself like that. Are you capable of that detachment? If you are not capable of that detachment, don't get attached. Don't take up responsibility if you do not have the courage to give it up in no time. If you're going to get attached and stuck there like Chakravyuha, then you'll suffer all life, this doership and enjoyership. Are you that detached, that free? Only then engage with the world. If you are incapable of, you will get stuck, you will get killed like Abhimanyu. Because you have no full knowledge of things. You only know how to enter, you don't know how to exit. So that is the idea. Know whether you are capable of this Shanta Nirashraya. If you are not Nirashraya, you can't be Shanta. Everything will matter to you. Here, Nirashraya independent. His existence is independent. Still he behaves. As I said at the very beginning of the discourse, I said Krishna still behaves, still works. Not out of any attachment to any goals or outcomes. He works for dharma. He works for setting example. He is Nirashraya. He is not dependent on the battle. Battle is dependent on him. He is not dependent on the Pandavas. Pandavas are dependent on him. He is not dependent on dharma. Dharma is dependent on him, for which sake he works. That is the way of the Jnanis. They are Nirashrayas. And because they are Nirashraya, they are Shanta. Because nothing can disturb their peace. Attachments and desires only disturb our peace. No? If there are no desire, there is no disturbance. Bhagavan used to say, I want peace. Remove I, remove want, all you have is peace. I is ego, want is desires. Remove both. And what remains is peace. So simple. Nirashraya. I have no desire, no doership, therefore no enjoyership. I am free and independent. You can't capture me. You can't entice me. You can't tempt me with any of these worldly things, because none of these I associate or identify with. I may behave like that as if it is necessary, it is important, you are very important, all this is very important. But deep under, I am free because I can walk away. And somebody asks, oh, what will happen to all these children and their education, and what will happen to the institution? I said, was I building it in the first place? Was it because of me? Then why should I worry? If it has meant to happen, it will happen. In a dream, how many people get killed or how many people live? At the end of it, it is a dream. Vishwam tyaktva swapna vicharam. Then how will a dreamer get so perturbed? Ayyo, so many people in my dream drowned in the river. Now I have to do shraddha for all of them. What are you talking? Those people in the dream were dream people. They don't have a death. They never had birth, they never had death. So why are you starting to worry? So you won't be worried. He's Nirashraya. Dream is dependent on the dreamer. Dreamer is not dependent on the dream. That is very important to remember. So a Jnani lives Nirashraya, independent of everything and everyone. He is not worried. Once you forget that you are Nirashraya, then you become Ashrita. Means you become dependent. Then you have to toe the line of whatever people say. Why? Because you have some desires, you want something from them. Then do as they say, dance to their tunes then. Jnani will not dance to anybody's tune. He has his own tune to dance. He is not going to listen to anybody if it's not right. Dharma only he will go for. If it's dharma, he is not going to stay. That is the idea. How independent, how free you become despite all the responsibilities. You don't feel the burden of it. Because you are a Jnani. And you remain peaceful, Shantaha. And all these are Brahma, all these illusion. Yes, Kastvam Koyam, yesterday I told you, your mother, father, in this last birth were you my mother and father? Okay, I will give you respect, I will do my duties as per the demands of the time. Beyond that, I cannot get attached to you and cry my whole life lamenting, oh my mother, oh my father. I will not do that. I know, I am independent of it. That is the beauty. When Krishna was very upset with some of the gopikas who came late, he told them, faking anger, protesting, why you have come so late? Go back to your husbands. And the gopikas said, which husband? Oh, your husband at your home. Oh, that husband was my husband in this lifetime. Was he my husband in the last lifetime? Will he be my husband in the next lifetime? I don't know. They come and go. You alone are true relative. Because you alone are that self which is mine, which is me, which is my own. Everything else is not my own. They will come and go. So which husband or should I go back to Krishna? I have no husband. There are so many husbands I have had in so many lifetimes. Which one should I go back to? Like the soul told Narada. Which mother and father you are talking about? This king and queen. That was for this lifetime. Another lifetime somebody else was my mother and father. In another lifetime somebody else. How am I supposed to behave now? I am independent of these mother-father business. They are dependent on me for their desires. I am independent as... So that is the idea. Nirashraya Shanta. Independent. What a wonderful word. I cannot just stop reveling in the idea of Nirashraya. How freeing it is. When you are dependent on others, that is a miserable life. That is the bandha. When you are independent. So what? Eat less. Live within certain means. Why go and cause all these dependencies? And above all, for your own joy, you should not be dependent on others. Don't give the key to your happiness in somebody else's hand. Unless he speaks to me, I am not happy. Unless she smiles at me, I am not happy. Unless he praises me, I am not happy. Unless I am given this, I am not happy. How many dependencies? Your nature is joy, Sat Chit Ananda. But your Ananda is not happening because you depend on somebody to tell you or do something for you. This is why we are all miserable, because our joys are all conditional, dependent on others. We are not able to remain independent. That's why we are not able to remain joyful. So this is the idea. You have to really think deeply, be appreciated, to understand how we have made ourselves slaves to dependencies. That's why a Jnani and a sannyasi is best life. They don't stay in one place, they don't take anything from anybody, they don't depend. If somebody gives, take it, doesn't give, don't take it. Okay, one more sloka we can take, 2.19, that is on 166. Sashariram idam vishwam na kinchit iti nishchitam Shuddha chinmatra atma cha tat kasmin kalpanadhuna. Again he is beautiful, he says. They all continuing the imaginary idea of this. He says, I have recognized this entire world including this body. Na kinchit iti nishchitam is certainly nothing. It is just an image, a projection, a superimposition. This body is in this lifetime. Last time I had a different body and next lifetime I'll have a different body, I know. So I am not dependent on, again same thing. This is not me, this is nothing. These are all the dream bodies that come and go. The whole world also in a dream comes and goes. This is certainly, see, nishchitam. Nishchayatmaka buddhi should be there, not theoretical knowledge. Convinced, confirmed, experiential knowledge is what Janaka is saying. Nishchitam. And Shuddha Chinmatra Atma. I am Shuddha, pure consciousness. Chinmatra. Chit means awareness. Shuddha means pure. So I am pure awareness only. That is myself. That is Atma, that myself. Tat kasmin kalpanadhuna. Then where is this imagination come to me? Where is this imagination coming to me from? Can any imagination capture me anymore? That is what he is saying. Can my grandmother ever fool me into thinking that again? Never get fooled. Because I have analyzed, understood all this is kalpana, this is all imagination. It was my people's ways to make us behave. So our ancient people are very smart. There is a hell, there is a heaven. After death you will go to hell, and that hell is not ordinary. 28 different types of hells are there. Degree of torture is different. In one they will boil you in a oil vessel. In another one they will roast you in some fire. In one more they will pull out your nails. And our Garuda Purana is there. It has a description of hells. What kind of hells one can go to after they do wrong things. Similarly, heavens also descriptions are there. What kind of heaven, which kind of apsaras will treat you how. And what food you will eat and what kind of dance and music you will enjoy and how long can you stay in that 5-star, 7-star. But this is all the construction like my grandmother's idea of controlling me. Our ancient rishis knew these people don't behave unless they are given some fear of punishment or greed for a reward. We only work then, we don't work otherwise. I thought the fear of avoiding punishments or greed for getting some reward, that alone motivates human beings. Fear and greed. Bull and bear market I was mentioning. So they've created all this nicely and fooled us all into thinking all this is for real and we are going to suffer. You will suffer if you are an Ajnani. You will not suffer if you are a Jnani. That's all it is. Hell is there or not there, heaven is there or not there, may be there, may not be there. How does it matter to me unless it affects me? It affects me when I am caught in that. But I am not caught only where it affects me. So I am not bothered about this. Many people came and asked me, Swami, so really hell is there, heaven is there? I said, even if it's there, how does it matter? If you are a Jnani, it doesn't matter to you. If you are a Jnani, then it matters. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. But yes, states of existence, one day is a good day, one day is a bad day, something goes wrong, that is hell. Something goes right, that is heaven. So that is idea, that is another day, another topic, again that is all the Dvaita stuff. That what lokas are there, where do they live, what do they do and all that stuff. But here he is saying, this body itself is not me and all that exists around me is also not real. I am Nishchita. Upanishad, the word itself is broken into 3. Upa, Ni, Shat. Upa means near, Ni means with certainty, Nishchayatmika, Buddhi, and Shat means 3 things are there. What are the three things? Gati, avasadana and vinasha. Himsa, same thing. Basically, himsa, gati, avasadana is the idea of shat. Himsa means destruction or vinasha. Gati means movement and avasadana means untying. So what happens when you read Upanishad? You get closer with certainty. There is no doubt after reading Upanishad whether I am the self or I am not the self. The doubt should be completely destroyed. Gati, himsa. Gati means movement towards the self. Himsa means destruction of the long notion and loosening of all the bondages. I am the body and mind. That bonds get loosened. That is the definition of Upanishad. And so here he says, Nischayatmaka buddhi is got. He has confirmed experience that he is not the body. And all this world is also not real. He has been imagining kalpana. He's all been imagining, but his true nature is Shuddha Chit Matram. Only pure awareness, consciousness is his real self. The children go for magic show. In North they call it Meena Bazaar. Meena Bazaar means a variety market. So all the kids are very excited when that comes to the town. It has circus, it has got nice rides, jhulas, it has got beautiful shops. You can shoot balloons, win prizes, and throw rings and win prizes. And there'll be magic show, circus, and some many other things. So it'll give 2 rupees ticket was there for the magic show. Now, inside the magic show, when we enter, all of us are sitting, and this man is pulling out 500, 100 rupees notes from a hat. And I am getting excited. My God is so rich. If only I can get that hat. But if that money was real, why was he putting 2 rupees ticket and working so hard? If he was really producing money out of the hat, then he should not have been working so hard. He should have been happily sitting in some island resort or somewhere far away, enjoying life. Morning, afternoon, evening, 3 shows he is doing. 2 rupee tickets with so many assistants. So a child would get excited. Oh my God, so much money, so much money. Will a Jnani ever get deluded by all the temptations of the world is the question. All the pleasures of the body, of the mind, and all the temptations of the world around. Will a Jnani ever get deluded? Looks real. The money from the magician's hat looks real. It's just like our regular notes, but it won't work, isn't it? How many ever he pulls out, go to a bank, say I want to exchange this, go to a shop, I want to buy something. It won't work because that's not a real note. Likewise, this world, this body, this idea of I and mine and all the temptations of this world which so very strongly bind us, pull us into it. Pamadi balavadridam. Dangerously strong. Why? Sudushkaram, he says. It is difficult, more difficult than controlling the wind is to control the mind and the temptations of the mind. Arjuna's dilemma. He tells Krishna, this mind is so chanchalam mana Krishna, pramadi balavadranam, tasyaham nigraham manye, vayuriva sudushkaram. This mind is so fickle, so unstable, chanchala, and so dangerously powerful. Pramadi, balavatranam, as if by force it captures me and pushes me to do things which even if I do not want to do. And tasyaham nigraham manye, to control this mind and these senses is more difficult than controlling the wind. I can as well control the wind, he says, but I can't control my mind and senses. Then our Krishna is also very kind. He first says, I acknowledge your problem. Chanchalam hi mana Krishna, when he says, yes Arjuna, asamshayam mahabaho. I know, Mahabaho, the big armed one, because you are so powerful, yet you are powerless in front of the mind. It's a satire on Arjuna. Call yourself powerful Mahabahu, yet you are saying, Vayu Sudushkaram, I cannot control my mind. Asamshayam Mahabaho, Mano Durnigraham Chalam. It's very fickle. Durnigraha is very difficult to control the mind and keep it under your control. Durnigraha, Mano Durnigraha, Dur, Katin, difficult, Nigraha, control. Chalam, because it keeps moving all the time. Can't capture. Remember the wave and particle, you can't capture it. Mano Durnigraha Chalam. But he says, Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha gruhyate. But there is a way. Abhyasa, practice. Practice, I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am the self. Nishchayatmika buddhi. With confirmation, conviction, you practice this. Believe in that. Abhyasa. Practice detachment. When things get too overwhelming, you just can't get out of it. Practice. Is this real? Are those money, currency that is coming out of magician's hat real? Will it give me real joy? Can I use it to buy the next item in the mela? No. None of this is real. Analyze and convince yourself. Abhyasa you do. Continuous contemplation. Nityam. Abhyasa in the Kontaya, Vairagya, and then develop detachment. Once I know that money is not real, you think I will go scrambling, collecting the notes that are falling out of magician's hat? Some fools were doing in the front bench row. They were all jumping and collecting whatever was falling out. Must be a planted program to just excite the others. But all the elders were sitting, these kids only were jumping around the stage. Elders were like, yes, we know this note is not real. That is all it is, this world. A Jnani sits unaffected. Let the show go on. Let the magic go on. He enjoys also. It's not that he's like, I don't enjoy this magic because I know the trick. No. He still behaves as if, why do we pay and go to magic shows then? He enjoys, but he's not attached or affected by it. Likewise, this kalpana that all this is real, this imagination that all this is real is the reason why we are suffering. And he says that where is the scope for any imagination once you know it is a trick? This whole world is a trap, and the senses and the mind, the pleasures that they promise are not real. Then why will I go? Beautiful shloka comes. He says, Atmanam chet vijaniyat aham asmi iti purushaha. Once a man knows that I am the self, aham asmi, I am the one, I am the self. Kim icchan kasya kamaya shariram anusanjaret. For what desire, for what temptations should he put his body to suffering? When he knows it is not worth it, why would he run to grab all those fake currency notes falling from magician's hat? Why would he even get up from his seat? He won't. Kimichan. For what reason? Kasya kamaya. For what desire? Sharira mansure. Should I torture my body to run behind the world? He will sit and say, all that is illusion, you're chasing mirages, nothing is there, real is not real. So Jnani remains unaffected, unperturbed. Like the old man who is watching the magic show remains undisturbed by the show. He doesn't get tempted by it. Children may get excited and jump. That is why our Yamadharmaja, na samparaya pratibhati balam. This knowledge cannot be taught to balam, the kids, in spiritual path. Pramadyatam vitta mohena mudham. Because they are fools, they run behind vitta means all the things of the world, money and the likes of it. Pramadyantam, because pramad means they get into that dangerous pursuit of vitta, all the wealth of the world, out of mudham, out of foolishness, because they think those notes are real, the currency is real, the joy will come out of it is real. The things that we can buy with currency in the mela are going to be real. I am loko asti na iti na paramani, he says. The one who thinks that only this world exists and the other worlds or other things, it means there is nothing beyond my body. Body and mind is all that is. The one thinks like that. Puna vashamapadyate me. They again and again come into my vasha, means in my control. Yama's vasha. Yama means if they die and they're born again, they die, they're born again, they keep going through the cycle. Who? These kids in spiritual path who think magician's notes are real notes. They get up from their chair, run to the stage, grab as many and beat each other for stealing from each other. Fight with each other. But the elder who have really paid in real notes, the ticket sits there lamenting, 2 rupees waste. This is the idea of the self and the world. That's why Jnani cannot get too tempted. Kids will get jumping and attracted by it. Likewise, a Jnani will see the world, do what is required, like buying a ticket and taking kids to the magic show. Jnani would do that like a good parent. But won't get excited by the show. He will watch it without getting disturbed. Let the children jump up and down. Jnani won't.